Many of you were asking for the service video of the headset from the 2021 Orbea Occam, and so that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna take the headset apart, check the bearings, clean them up, put some fresh grease in to keep your Occam running smooth. This service is actually exactly the same for absolute majority of modern mountain bikes. It is very simple to do. You can definitely do it yourself at home, and you actually don't even need that many tools for it. I have all of those in my Duffler bag, sponsor of this channel. So the only things you need is some grease, 4mm Allen key, sometimes might be also 5mm Allen key included, but in my case only 4mm, and some old rack, and that's it. Really simple. And so let's get into it. And we're gonna start by opening up the stem bolts. There are 2 of them on each side. You don't need to take them out all the way. 1 or 2 turns are enough just to make the stem loose. Next thing you want to do is to unthread this top cap. Also 4mm in my case. On this Occam it might be a 5mm in some cases. We're gonna unthread this all the way. Take out the top cap. And let's put it somewhere safe. At this point there are 2 approaches to take. The safe one would be to take off the brake caliper, so the fork with the front wheel will be completely loose. But in my case I had done this 1,000 or million times, so I'm just gonna take off the stem with the handlebars, put it down for now. I'll stand in front of the bike, handlebars in one hand, wheel in between of my legs so it can't move anywhere. I'm gonna take out those spacers from the top of the head tube, put it somewhere safe, and now I can just grab the top tube and it should slide out from the fork. Yes, if I slide it back, I have the top bearing there. I can just slide it up, put it somewhere safe. Now it's actually good to put something under the frame to take hold of the frame and the fork. So I'm just gonna slide the fork out, and I have this tool under which is gonna take care of the fork like that. I can leave the handlebars hanging, and now I'm gonna take care of the bearings quickly. So we have already taken the top bearing off. You can see mine was in a really good condition. It was actually serviced a few weeks ago, so there is still fresh grease, but if there is dirt and muck, then you would just wipe it off with an old rag. You might also want to look and check for any damage on the cups, which in this case is just the frame. This one's fine. The bearing in the bottom works the same way, so you just need to get it out. Sometimes it might be quite tough, so step by step, pressing it out. And there is your bottom bearing, in my case again, pretty fresh, with fresh grease. And again, take that old rack, clean the underside, checking for damage, any cracks in the frame. This one again is very fine. And now we can get back to the top bearing, which has this top rubber cover. You can just simply slide it off. And we're checking the bearings, checking if they're spinning smoothly. So you put 2 of your fingers in and try spin it around. Should feel really smooth. These ones are perfect. The bottom bearing also perfect. So no need to change those. Give the bearings good wipe, good clean. Do not use any degreaser or isopropyl alcohol, because there is a very fine grease on the inside of those seal bearings and you definitely do not want to get rid of it. Give a wipe to that cover also, and all the spacers and all the parts that we took off the headset. And just a note that with different kind of bikes and even different models, the cheaper models of the Occam might have different bearings. So if you have the cheaper model, you might see this kind of bearing on the inside of your headset. It works pretty much the same way. Only this one is not sealed, so if you see any rust on those balls or the bearing is falling apart, you would just need to change it. And the bike actually might have those aluminium cups, which if they have any damage you can just pop them out and put new ones in with the bearings. When assembling those open bearings, compared to those seal bearings, you actually need to use quite a lot of grease to make them move smoothly, unlike those seal bearings which have the grease on the inside already, and we are using grease only to prevent water from coming in. So this would be the big difference. You really need to use a lot of grease with those cheap bearings. And if you made it this far, you can basically celebrate. Now we're only gonna put grease on the inside, put the bearings back in, and that's it. So in my case I have a carbon frame, so I have to use the carbon friendly grease like this one from Makov. I'm just gonna put a tiny little bit on the inside of the frame here. Like I said, this is only to prevent the water from coming in. It has nothing to do with the bearings moving smoothly. Insert the top bearing. I like to put a bit of grease on the top as well. Then we have this plastic cover which goes on top. And now we're gonna deal with the bottom. And so this is the time when we're gonna pick your brushes back up. I'm gonna put it in between my legs again. Looks a little sketchy, but if you know what you're doing, it's actually fairly easy. I'm gonna put the grease on the bottom, on the ground race of the fork, where I'm gonna slide the bearing. Just like that. I'll take the bottom bearing, slide it on, put a little grease on top of it. Obviously with the bearing you need to make sure that it's facing up the correct way, so it has this cut edge which is facing up and is gonna slide into the frame. Now I can just grab the fork and slide it back down into the frame. Be careful so you hit the bearing and go like that. Make sure that all your cables are as they were and they are not in some sort of mixed up positions. Make sure obviously the brake caliper is on the correct side, that the fork is facing the correct way forwards. And now all is left, just reinstall the headset cover and the spacers. Slide back the stem with your handlebars and reinstall the top cap. Thread it in with a 4mm. Tight it down just so you feel the bearings pressing together. Do not over tighten this bolt. The maximum torque is 4 Nm, but you can pretty much feel when it starts to grab. You can test if the headset is closed by pressing the front brake and wobbling the whole headset, the whole system. And you're looking for any kind of play. Actually there is a little bit of play. I can make it a little bit tighter than what it is. And again, testing for any play. This looks much better. Yes, I can leave it like that. And the last thing would be making sure that the stem is in line with your front wheel, with the fork. And when you're happy with that, you're just gonna tighten down those stem bolts to 5 Nm with your torque wrench, and you are done. Congratulations, you have serviced your headset on your Orbea Occam. And actually one last note on the stem. After a few hundreds of kilometers when I was riding the Occam, there was some clicking coming out of the stem, and I was asking people who have the Occam as well, and it seems like this is some generic issue where the stem is not able to tighten down as much as it should. But I managed to resolve it with this carbon gripper. So if you open up the stem and you put this carbon gripper on the inside, You can also do the same on the inside here around the handlebar. This is gonna grip, this is gonna provide more grip to the stem. You can then tighten down the bolts to 5 Newton meters or 6. 6 is the maximum, and that got me rid of that weird annoying clicking noise. So yeah, carbon gripper, and your problem will be solved if you have the same clicking issue. And so the headset of your Occam is now serviced and should be running smoothly for many other kilometers. Thank you for watching this another service video about the 2020 and 2021 Orbea Occam. If you want to watch other service video about this particular bike, there is a playlist somewhere up there, or the link is down in the description under the video. So check the other videos and take care of your lovely, precious, lovely Occam. What a gorgeous bike. Take care of it and ride it hard, and I'll see you at the next video. Hey, thanks. Bye.